Coming up, why Alaska's homegrown entrepreneurs are a breed unto themselves.
My dad and I and my sons have cleared this land. It was trees in 1959 when Dad bought it. So that tells you how virgin this land is.
There is nobody that can compete with our quality of our vegetables.
Vegetables that are part of an Anchorage company's mission to change how we feed our kids.
Everything is made locally here in town.
The story of Bambinos, an organic baby food company, and also a business with deep roots in a family restaurant. Ahead, the sacrifices and hurdles on the road to success.
Sponsorship for Frontiers with Rhonda McBride is provided by your local Alaska Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Alaska, where there are old triumphs, but also new frontiers, with challenges as great as the state itself, but a belief that the best is yet to come, bringing you the faces, the places, and the spirit of the last frontier. This is Frontiers with Rhonda McBride.
Welcome to our program as we explore the world of Alaska entrepreneurs. A surprising cauldron of creativity. Many of them have fascinating stories, so it was hard to pick just one business, but we did. We followed Zoe Marudas for about a year now, a woman determined to put Alaska on the map for baby food.
Oh, this is gonna be the best day of my life.
You'll find a lot of homegrown entrepreneurs at weekend markets like this one.
Good morning.
This booth does brisk business.
11, please. That's 37 even, please. Did you need a bag, my dear? So together that is $12.50, please.
Zoe Marudas is Anchorage's go-to person for food allergies.
Everything that we have here is organic and natural.
Zoe went to medical school but never finished because her studies in nutrition led her to her true passion, food as medicine.
Do you have our card? Of course. Okay, perfect.
Zoe has developed her own line of frozen organic baby food, Bambinos. Her own son, Constantine, is on the label.
And the veggies chicken has celery, carrots, yellow potato, leeks.
All of these vegetables are Alaska grown. Over the years, there's been a lot of cross-pollination at this market, especially between Zoe and Mark Rempel, an organic farmer from Palmer.
$6.75, please.
Mark's homegrown vegetables now have a new market, thanks to Bambino's baby food.
My whole idea was to make it flourish in Alaska and for Alaskans and expand it from there.
All the way to the lower 48, where national foodie experts say they haven't come across a frozen baby food that's so healthy and so full of flavor.
We're adventurers up here, I'll say that, or pioneers, I don't know.
Zoe took us to the Rempel farm last fall because she wanted us to see for ourselves what makes her baby food so special.
Maybe this is the new frontier in Alaska, is growing organic baby food that people around the world will go, I want that stuff from Alaska.
Mark Rempel's father cleared this land in 1959.
So that tells you how virgin this land is.
Mark also fertilizes it with fish meal from Kodiak.
For one thing, I feed the soil well, so the soil feeds the plants well, so the plants feed the babies well. Well, let's go look at the carrots.
While Mark was raised as a farmer, Zoe grew up in her parents' restaurant. Both taught to feed others as they would their own family.
I really love that because we're extending our hands to other families. We're all looking for the best quality ingredients for our families. We're looking for the best recipes, the best things that we can offer.
And for vegetables, this Alaska farm offers some of the best conditions. No pesticides, no chemicals, non-stop summer daylight, great for cabbages, carrots. And like the potatoes, the cooler temperatures help to convert starch to sugar.
Alaskan potatoes are special because of the cold soils.
Mark Rempel also credits the flavor of his prolific potato crop to this core belief. if you love the land will love you back. And for Zoe Marutis, it's all about love.
When you make something with love, you're making a meal, and you're making it with a passion and the dedication that you're enjoying what you're doing, the food will guarantee to be tasting much better.
Love is an intangible with no way to truly measure the results.
This one is almost 21 pounds.
Zoe says her dream is big, like these giant squashes, to feed the future, to get children to love healthy food.
I love what I do, and that makes the work easy. You believe in it. You know you're doing it for a better vision, a better life, a better generation.
Up next, every family business has a story. How Bambino's baby food got its start at this family restaurant on Spenard, and the lessons it taught a budding entrepreneur. You'll often hear that an Alaska startup is the first to do this, the first to do that, the first to apply technology in a new way. Well, that was the case for Bambino's Baby Food, a company that had a head start from a strong and supportive family and from a community hungry for innovation. Most toddlers are apt to get more food on them than in them.
Aw, are you sharing with your bear?
But moms like Nicole Cabrera still try their best.
Can you take a bite now, too?
Nazarene is about ready for solid foods, but she'd rather have the salmon her grandmother is fixing for supper. Still, she likes to teethe on these Bambino's frozen sockeye salmon stars.
That feel good on your gums?
Nicole found out about Bambino's baby food at the Southside Market.
An extra benefit is that it's local. So I really like supporting local businesses, and the ingredients she uses are awesome.
Nicole plans to feed it to her newborn daughter as soon as she's ready.
We're hopefully going to be opening a little storefront in Midtown.
Markets like this attract a new type of parent, like Micah and Holly Boyer, who want to steer their children away from processed foods. They've raised one daughter on Bambino's and now a son.
I just think that she has like the top-notch baby food right now, actually, in the country.
Holly Boyers is a nurse and believes if we feed our kids more vegetables like these, they can head off a lot of health problems.
Eczema, gut issues, needing medications for a lot of issues at a young age. And so if we can really be in tune with the food that we eat.
Let me give you my card.
This market has taught Zoe Marutis a lot about what today's parents want for their kids and convinced her it's time to open a store.
Have a beautiful day.
You too. Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you when we have our little place as well.
Zoe's little place includes a commercial kitchen, so she can keep up with the growing demand, and a store in the front.
It's natural, it's sweet.
Where you can buy Zoe's Alaska-made food or talk with her about the ingredients.
Is everything organic?
The answer, as much as possible and as local as possible.
It's the perfect shape for little hands, and I'm actually working on a patent on that one.
3 stars are usually enough for one meal. Each pouch has about 5 servings. The meals made up of wild Alaska salmon and vegetables from the valley are among the most popular. The frozen stars are warmed up a few minutes in the microwave, then ready to serve. Can I try it?
Yes?
That is really tasty. Doctors actually recommend Bambino's to bariatric and cancer patients and people who have trouble with solid foods like the elderly.
There's a little bit more texture, and that's because of the olive oil and the protein that's in there.
Bambino's baby food has been inspired by recipes that have been in Zoe's family for generations.
The bread itself has no salt, no yeast, no dairy or sugar.
Bread made the old Greek way.
This is my mom's mom. Her name is Olga, and this is my grandfather, Cristo.
As for Zoe, this is her passport photo. Her family left Greece when she was 4 years old. Her mom was done with the ups and downs of olive farming and determined to open a restaurant in Anchorage. Even though Pizza Olympia has been here a long time, with all this road construction on Spenard, you might miss it. Bambino's is right next door, so the two businesses can help each other out. it's still all in the family. Zoe's brother George and his wife Georgia do most of the cooking, but her mom Athena still keeps an eye on everything, and if you ask, she'll sing you a song. Athena says this restaurant has served as Zoe's business school. What kind of wisdom do you think is in the cooking?
Love, respect, clean, fresh.
Athena says Pizza Olympia gave Zoe the foundation to build Bambinos.
You work with your heart, with a smile. I help another people.
There's an old world feeling here, where diners can enjoy meals that take a lot of time and effort to prepare.
It's good because it's fresh.
The family is proud that Zoe has not only carried on the tradition,
Can you show Mommy another big bite?
but taken it to children, not just in Alaska, but across America.
Yay!
Oh, it's so good to get food inside those kids. Well, as with many startups, the owner of Bambino's Baby Food made a lot of sacrifices. Although Zoe Marutis was able to use the kitchen in her family's restaurant to make her baby food, she only had access to it after midnight when the restaurant was closed. And during that time, she had a hectic travel schedule that included an invite to the Today Show. Here she is in a photo with Hoda Kotb and Kathy Lee Gifford. And she also met up with Gwyneth Paltrow at a health conference in Los Angeles. Well, there's a lot of interest in Bambino's cookies for toddlers to help prevent peanut allergies. And the grand opening for the Bambino store is on Friday, September 1st from 4 to 8. Well, ahead, the role startups play in seeding Alaska's economy. Gretchen Fauske from UAA's Business Enterprise Institute joins us, along with Catherine Jernstrom, owner of the Alaska Boardroom. What they have to say about Alaska's homegrown entrepreneurs that might surprise you. When we look at entrepreneurs in Alaska, we see in many ways the faces of the future. And joining us to talk about that, Gretchen Fauske with the UAA Business Enterprise Institute. And we also have Catherine Jernstrom, owner of the Boardroom. So an entrepreneur with us right now. You know, it's great to hear these business stories, but I want to go back to the story of Bambino's baby food. How unusual is that?
Yeah, you know, to have someone go through 2 years of idea stage and figuring out who her market is, and Zoe's a fabulous marketer. She's got a great product, and she's stuck with it. She's grown both locally and now globally, and so it's unusual for her to do it, but if anyone's going to do it, Zoe's going to do it.
Well, she does have a lot of passion. Is that something you see in Alaska entrepreneurs, maybe more so than in other places?
I think passion is really the secret ingredient. I mean, Zoe's incredibly passionate. I don't know when she sleeps. She's always working on her idea. And when you look at successful entrepreneurs in Alaska, they're all incredibly passionate about what they're doing. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we saw with Zoe is riding this wave of the farm-to-table movement. And, you know, do you see more of that for Alaska agriculture being able to market their product outside our state?
I think there's a lot of opportunity for people at farmers markets. It's a good way to test their product and figure out what works, what doesn't work, and then start to expand. And you see it with our agriculture industry and also our seafood industry with some new products like kelp salsa coming online. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the big picture here. Now, we have some numbers to show you, to give you a sense of what a role entrepreneurs play. So in a 10-year period, there were new firms created, about 5,000 a year.
Yeah, that's correct. So in an economy, jobs are gained and lost. And so when you look at the numbers, 5,000 is actually mostly due to startups or new business starts. So your private sector, private firms will lose jobs, they'll gain jobs. But when you're talking about actual new jobs being added to the economy, it's primarily coming from startups, some years only from startups.
Well, one of the interesting numbers, too, is that we rank high when it comes to having new entrepreneurs. We've got a chart here to show you that. So we have startup activity. We're 6th among smaller states, but overall in the United States, we are number 3 for new entrepreneurs. but yet we lag from the growth. What's the problem with that? Because we do so well in getting going, but can't sustain it.
Yeah, you know, starting companies is really hard. Scaling them is even harder. And so many other metropolitan areas benefit from having a large venture capital community, a large angel community.
Now, talk about the angel community. What's that?
Yeah, you know, so startups need money to grow, to expand, and angel investors are individual high net worth people who believe in investing in local startups. And we do have a community of local angels that is growing and expanding, and we're seeing that that's playing a huge role in the increase in growth in startup over the last few years. But you know, we're still very new in this ecosystem of supporting startups.
So what would it take? I mean, I imagine when we have a small population that it's hard to seed that ecosystem.
Yeah, ecosystems, I think, benefit from great universities. They benefit from having a robust investment community. They benefit from accelerators and co-working spaces and business plan competitions. We have a handful at UAF and UAA and APU and startup weekends. All of these, you know, areas where you can test your idea. Once you test it, maybe go to a market or get a small amount of funding, find out if you have a customer base, and then, you know, if things are going well, continuing to grow and find investment.
Well, let's talk about your business, because you talked about co-sharing of workspace, the boardroom. Tell us a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, so we started the boardroom 4 years ago, and we really started it to provide resources and a place for entrepreneurs to gather and small companies to you know, leverage off of each other, to reduce overhead expenses, to get out of their basement or their mom's house, and really benefit from the energy and excitement of others working around them as well. It's a bit of peer pressure when everyone else is growing big companies. You want to do that too. And so we see a lot more companies coming through there. We have about 175 companies that work out of this space.
I imagine by watching all those companies, you can see sort of red flags if they're going to run into problems or signs of success. So what do you see?
You know, I think when entrepreneurs get to a scary place where they don't know how to move forward, it's easy to just turn inwards and not ask for help and think that, oh, well, I'll just work a little bit harder and a little bit longer and I'll find the answer. And I think the opposite is true. Getting a huge amount of feedback from the right types of mentors and investors and supporters is hugely beneficial. Sharing your idea, sharing your challenges, and getting an outward perspective.
Well, what we're seeing, you know, not just with your company, but this sort of move away from bricks and mortar, like with the weekend markets, festivals. You have a lot of people that just do that. They don't want to have a store. What role do those play?
I think being able to, like I said before, test your product. We see a lot of businesses that have gotten a start and then graduated to bricks and mortar. Businesses like Sweet Caribou, Wild Scoops, both are incredibly popular, and both of them,
ice cream store.
Yes, so good. They both started at farmers markets and then grew. And then you even have other businesses that are already bricks and mortar going to farmers markets, like the Alaska Pasta Company and Fire Island Bread. And so it's a great way for product testing, for engaging your audience in a different way, and for just getting out there in the community.
So we have some businesses to talk about here, just to give you some quick snapshots of what's going on there. Now, this is 60 Hertz. Tell us about this company.
Yeah, 60 Hertz is a local startup. It was started by an incredibly talented woman, Piper Wilder, and it's a company that's very exciting because it's solving real Alaska problems, and that's the high cost of energy in rural and remote places. And so what they do is they're addressing you know, a challenge in getting public money to upgrade infrastructure projects around energy uses. And they're raising a $200 million fund of private capital, and they're lending it to local remote sites that build either renewable or diesel generation energy infrastructure projects, and then pairing it with a software system to maintain and manage that.
So we need entrepreneurs to help solve problems. Now this other one is kind of curious. These two guys look like they have a lot of attitude.
Yeah, this is Eric Soley on the right there. He is a local startup founder out of Fairbanks, and their company is called Attently, and it's a software company. They take video data from live presentations, and they analyze the emotions of the audience members, and they give that aggregated data to the presenter so that they know where in their presentation the audience was engaged and excited or sad or angry.
Fascinating. Now also, you know, we are so techie in our state. Drones apparently are big in our state, companies that are looking at ways to use them.
Drones are a really interesting emerging industry in Alaska. We were one of the few FAA designated test sites. So with that, you see people using drones for dull, dirty, and dangerous jobs. But we also see new technologies coming out. Indemnis, who provided this video, created the Nexus, which is a drone parachute system. And it
Parachutes?
Yes. So when you have drones, some of them are very expensive. If they fail, you might just lose them. And so this parachute has high ballistic material, and it deploys when the drone is failing and is safe over people. So it's not going to fall and hit people. You're going to be able to recover your drone. This company in Alaska is one of the only ones, if not the only company, that has figured out how to avoid entanglement. So as you can see, it's deploying, the drone is falling, it's not getting tangled in its chute, and they're able to safely recover it.
Another problem-solving company that helps us all, and hopefully they do well. Now, we've also got Class 5 boat works. This is fascinating here.
Yeah, this was founded by two men, also in Fairbanks, and they were working in high-grade plastics and decided they wanted to try to make a boat. So this is the rough-duty boat. It has impact resistance, a quiet, smooth ride, and is really resistant to corrosion. So what I think is interesting here is that it's an established industry, the maritime industry in Alaska, boat building. So you can see the resistance right there. It's pretty impressive. And people are innovating in that space. So you have companies like Ski and electrified vessels in Juneau and Kodiak, people using underwater drones. And so you're taking something that already exists, and people are innovating in that industry and creating new technologies and new products.
You know, we are struggling as a state, though, with funding state government. The oil industry is struggling with low oil prices. So how can we sort of improve things for entrepreneurs? Because it sort of depends on having that infrastructure.
You know, not always. I think especially in the tech world, everyone's got an idea. A lot of ideas can be, cheap to chase down. Entrepreneurs just need a support system. They need mentors, investors. They need a community to test ideas with and connect with. Accelerator programs and these business plan competitions really help support that. And I think, that's something that we can continue to excel in. There's an opportunity now and a necessity for us to start innovating, and that's an exciting time to be in this space.
So are we really different when it comes to entrepreneurs compared to other states? We do have some unusual challenges. Maybe that makes us a little different there. But
I'd like to think we are. I think Alaskans are well-versed and used to solving problems. What sometimes happens is you solve the problem and move on with your job, and you're not thinking about how to take that technology or that idea and turn it into a business. And so that's a challenge for us, but I think we're gritty and innovative.
Yeah, I think what's exciting about a company like 60 Hertz is they're taking Alaska where energy prices are high, and they're deploying a business model that wouldn't make sense in the lower 48 where energy prices can be relatively low. And so they're using what is a negative up here and turning it into a positive.
And those are good things to hear. Well, thank you very much. It's great to hear stories of businesses like the ones you've talked about today. We want to thank you for joining us and hope you enjoyed the conversation. We'll see you next week.